It's your boy Domination. I'm back. The only place to get it, 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 only place you ever gonna get it, the only place you ever get it is right back to the basics. I'm your host, Domination. I'm back. How you doing? I know y'all miss me. I miss y'all too, man. One love, man. Chuckle the deuces. How we do it, Texas, baby. All right. And I'm gonna practice what I preach, man. For ladies, get at me, fellas. Y'all know what's up. Holler at me. I holler at y'all, man. We kick it. Getting, smoking and party, having fun, all that, laugh, joke, whatever. My boys, y'all know what it is. And this topic I want to bring to practice where I'm preaching. I'm going to talk about this. I know we're going to get some of the issues, but this is going to be one fun time. I'm talking about this is for the 80s babies, man. That's right, 80s babies. If you're an 80s baby, guess what? I'm 80s babies too. I'm born September 16, 1986. Boy, I'm telling you, man, my zodiac is a Virgo. Man, I'm telling you, if you know the best moment from the 80s, and when the time was to come from 80s, what's your favorite music, your actor from the 80s, what did you know what the style come from the 80s, and all that. What is your favorite 80s from that time? I'm going to tell you about my 80s time. Man, oh man, I'm a late 80s. Man, I'm going to tell you. For my time, man, my favorite rap group from the 80s from Run DMC. And my favorite song was, oh man, it's like that, and that's the way it is. And the second favorite song, my Adidas, and that's when the time when everybody was wearing Adidas from the 80s. That's when the best years from the 80s. Boy, that's one of the bestest in the years from the 80s. Everybody wear Adidas. That's when all the stuff was wearing from everybody wear Jordans and all that from the 80s and all that, and the 90s, all that. But this is for 80s. But everybody in the 80s was Adidas. Everybody wear Adidas. From here to the south, from up north and east and west coast, everybody wear Adidas when that song came out. And that was the best year in the 80s. And one of my favorite movies from the 80s is Superman. Superman from the time from the 80s, man. That's one of the bestest years from that time. Superman. R.I.P. to Christopher Reeve. He was one of the best actors ever due to that movie. Everybody knows what a Superman was. Superman Ben came out before every superheroes did. He came out in 1930s. 1930s, that's when Superman, and that's what made a guy star when they picked that guy, Christopher Reeve. And I forgot who director of the Superman. I think his name Marco Barnes or something like that. I forgot his name, but he's an actor. He's a director. He directed the movie, and Christopher Reeve was a star. And if it wasn't for Superman, he wouldn't be the star of the day if they picked him. And these are the times what comes from the 80s. Then you got listen to Luther Vandross, Power of Love, Never Too Much, Never Too Much. He come from the late 80s and come from the early 90s. Tip. And everybody know who listen to Luther. If you listen to Luther, shout out to Luther, rest in peace to Luther Vandross. Man, that's one of the times, man. And they had a great music era in that time from the 80s. Man, I miss that. That's some golden years, boys. That was golden years from the 80s. It don't matter if you come from the early 80s or the late 80s. If you know your favorite 80s moments, what's your favorite actors from the 80s, your favorite movies from the 80s, what the best clothes they wear from the 80s. And that's when the time women wear the big hair, big earrings and all that. That was all from the 80s style, man. I'm telling you. And then you got 3D glasses. I remember 3D glasses was red and blue and green. That was the time, man. Oh my God, I miss the 80s. I miss the 80s. That's when it was something. That was like a hip hop gear. I was straight a hip hop junkhead. Oh my God, man. I had a fade, but that was like early 90s. But I was probably wearing in the late 80s, early 90s, late 80s, late 80s. I don't know, but the only thing I wear tonight. But anyway, and that's the best way from the 80s. But what the worst from from 80s, when crack era hit the scene. Now it hit everywhere. It hit New York, it hit Los Angeles, it hit Florida, it hit New Orleans. It hit everywhere, man. Crack was the worst. It brought a lot of damage in the black community. And I think it was responsible because everybody was did crack. Even selling it, smoking. And it was so sad that they were selling kids to get some crack, man. They used to have women go down, dudes get some crack, man. And some guys doing crack can't even nowhere to live, place to go, not even stay, and lose their job. Even women lose their job for crack. Crack was really responsible. Everybody was responsible when crack would hit the scene to the white area scene, then it hit to the blacks, man. It hit every races, then it hit blacks. That's where it really most. Crack really messed up. And they had a song from the time with the 80s called White Lines. All I did to think of you. White lines. A lot of people think that was come from Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. Everybody thought they was talking about some regular white lines. They ain't talking about that. They was talking about crack. Don't do it. Free base. They call it free base. That's what the times was. It was really bad. It was bringing awareness of crack, man. I come from that same, but I didn't know about it yet till later. Man, it was really messed up, and I'm glad that the crack era was over at that time. It was really over when late 90s where it was coming. It was really ended because everybody died and responsible behind the crack was hit the scene. Everybody did it. Even Mayor DC, Barry Barnes, the mayor of DC, got caught in a hotel room smoking crack. Do y'all remember that? What kind of mayor is that doing that? And he's seen and now he found, but hey, he made mistakes, and we live, we learn, we all make mistakes. And let's not happen forward to that and then move on forward from that. And that was one of the worst, man, when they found Barry Bonds. The mayor of DC did some crack, man. A hotel with a woman, with a prostitute and stuff. And they bust him. He got set up for it too, but he brought himself down. But hey, everybody makes mistakes, man. That was the best time in the 80s. That was the worst time in the 80s. But it was a great year from the 80s, and it was worse from the 80s. And then I remember the fresh of clothes from the 80s, man. Oh my God, man. If you don't know what's your favorite 80s moment, or your favorite actor from the 80s, or your favorite movie from the 80s, all that. Like I'm gonna go for instance, my favorite basketball player was Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was my favorite. My second favorite player was Spud Webb. He's from Dallas, Texas, man. Spud Webb. Shout out to Spud Webb. He was the second favorite. He played Hawks, Atlanta Hawks, man. He's a number four or something. He's number 4. Man, he was my favorite player. He was the shortest guy, but he had skills. He could dunk and all that. He beat his teammate for slam dunk contest. It was an all-star game in Dallas, man. It was a long time ago, man. I tell you, I miss those days when things was something, man. 80s was a great year, but it always came Westview. But it was a year from the 80s. But in the year 2000, man, I hated it, man. I hate 2010 now. Oh, Lord. It's a bum-ass year. Oh, my God, man. Don't get me started with that. For all my 80s babies, man, for people to subscribe my channel and tell me what you think for my video. Send me your video response and your comments. All that, and tell me what you think. What's your favorite year from the 80s? Your favorite songs, your favorite actors, your favorite clothes from the 80s, different style from the 80s, and all that. And if you remember that stuff, then these are 80s, baby, man. And you keep a track on that. For all my 80s babies, that's for y'all, man. All my 80s baby. I'm an 80s baby myself, man. And this is all the topic I'm going to bring today. And holler at your boy, holler back. And this is Domination. This is YouTube. Chunk of the Deuce. That's how we do back in the basic, baby. All right. Till next time. Peace.